Okay, so today a little bit of analytic trigonometry, addition and subtraction formulas. If alpha and beta are acute angles such that cosine alpha is 4/5 and tan beta is 8/15, find sine of alpha plus beta. The first thing I'm going to do here is use a little bit of geometry, if you don't mind. So I'm going to go back and do some geometry, and I'm going to make this first this first triangle. The first triangle that we have here says that we have, I'm going to use this one, so I'm just going to name this thing alpha so I know where I am. We have cosine is 4/5. Well, remember from geometry that cosine of theta is adjacent over hypotenuse. So we have adjacent here, hypotenuse here, don't we? And hopefully you recognize this as a Pythagorean triplet. So that gives us this value with very little work to do. So we're going to hold on to these values and we're going to do something with them in just a minute. So there's our triangle alpha. Here's our triangle beta, and I don't know what any of these triangles look like. I'm just going to make them right triangles, but I don't know, exactly what they look like. But here we have tan. So we remember that tan of any angle is equal to opposite over adjacent, isn't it? So opposite over adjacent. So we have 8 and 15 here, which leaves us with the hypotenuse. We're going to do a little bit of math here. We're going to get 15 squared plus 8 squared is equal to h squared. And we're going to go back and get, this is 225 plus 64 is equal to h squared. So h squared is equal to 289. Please work. Yes, that works. So h is equal to 17, because if I take the square root of this and the square root of that, h is 17, so we have this is equal to 17. Why do we need this? Because we're going to be able to pull our trigonometric values out of this. So that was my whole goal there. So I'm going to start working on this a little bit here. So remember that our question was to find sine of alpha plus beta. And sine of alpha plus beta from our addition formulas is sine beta cosine, it should have been sine alpha cosine beta, right? Plus sine beta cosine alpha, right? Or as Billy would say, cosine fish. So let's just start working on that a little bit. So that gives us this. Well, sine of this, right? Sine, this is alpha up here. So sine of alpha, well, sine is, remember that sine of theta is opposite over hypotenuse. So it would be 3/5, wouldn't it? So this gives us 3/5 here. I'm just taking this from geometry. Cosine beta would be 15/17. Check my math. 15/17 adjacent over hypotenuse. That works good, doesn't it? This plus sign is this one. I'm just filling in these values. Sine of beta, right? This is our triangle beta. Is, what is that? 8/17, right? Opposite over hypotenuse is 8/17. And then from there we want cosine alpha. Well, cosine alpha is adjacent over hypotenuse is 4/5, isn't it? See what I'm doing here? So I'm using these addition and subtraction. I'm using this addition formula, but I'm also using a little bit of geometry, and we get here 45 over 85 plus 32 over 85, which is 77 over 85. So we can say with some certainty that sine alpha plus sine beta is equal to 77 over 85. All right, you guys, hope this was helpful. This gets easier and easier as you start to know kind of the algorithm, the model. What should I do first? What should I do second? How do I recognize things? Make sure that you have these formulas memorized, will you? Okay, great work. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe, and I always look forward to your comments. Some of you are relatively funny.